must be happy today, right?
That was a fun night.
That was a fun night. So the premiere was Tuesday night.
Right.
Boy, you've been working on this thing for a long time.
For like 3 years.
I remember when you were here, the last time you were here, you showed me on your iPhone like 30 seconds of
the circle of life. Yeah, we had gotten it going.
And it looked spectacular on the phone, but even better in the movie theater.
That's a good, can we use that in the marketing?
Absolutely. Yeah. Even better in the movie theater.
Than on the phone.
So 3 years you've been working on this movie, and the premiere is the first time you'd shown the film to an audience, a real
which
audience.
is rare. Usually by the time you're premiering the film, you've had test screenings, or you've shown it to groups, or you've had advanced screenings for critics. But we finished just in time for this premiere, and there it was in the Dolby, where
huge theater
where you've hosted the Oscars.
Yeah,
so it's a bit intimidating. And then everybody's there. The actors hadn't seen the film; most of them hadn't seen any of it yet. And there we were, and you're starting to realize maybe they won't like it. Like you never think about that. You do all the publicity. And I'm there just digging good thing I bite my nails because I was digging my fingers into my wife's wrist the whole time.
Really, you were that nervous?
I was, because I'm used to doing comedy. And, you know, the beginning of Lion King, there's no spoilers, but there's some sad things that happen in the movie. But once Billy and Seth as Timon and Pumbaa came on and I felt the laughs starting to spread, that's when I started to relax, eat my popcorn, and be able to enjoy the evening.
Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen are hilarious as Timon and Pumbaa.
And they were worried about it, too, because, you know, those are big shoes to fill.
I'll tell you something. Seth was here last night, and I was speaking to him after the show, and he said he hadn't seen anything really.
Right. That's
and he
right.
was so relieved because he felt there was a lot of improvisation. He's like, oh, Jon picked all the right things. Yeah. And that was worrying him, and you picked all the right things, I guess.
And that's my background, whether it was Elf or Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. I've always loved improvisation, things that could bring a little bit of life to it, and I love to spend all that time meticulously going through every daily. And with animation, it's even easier because you could cut anything together, and then you animate to that. So it really was the best of, and both of them are so funny, and we recorded them together. We actually acted it out in like a rehearsal theater space and recorded their voices, so that what you're seeing is a much more natural improvisational performance.
They're moving around, they're not standing right in front of a microphone.
Right.
Now, I do want to bring something up, and I hope this isn't upsetting to you, but I was studying some of the scenes from the film, and it seems that your movie has some striking and, may I say, disturbing similarities to another film named The Lion King, which came out in 1994. Would you like to explain this?
This is fake news. I don't know where you got these. That's not.
Did the people who made the original Lion King movie seen your movie yet?
They were there, actually.
Oh, they were at the thing.
And they were also very involved. They would come by, like Rob Minkoff, who directed the original, would come by and see what we were doing. I always wanted to check in with them because I felt that this was the type of film where the first one holds up so incredibly well, and so many people have grown up with it that I want to make sure that we honored the legacy of it. But we also changed a lot. It's about a half hour longer than the original. There's a lot of improv, a lot of scenes that weren't in the original. I wanted to make sure that everybody felt that it fit in. And Hans Zimmer, of course, worked on the original, too. Wanted to make sure that it fulfilled what they were going for. And they were actually at the premiere, too, and they stuck around for the party and seemed to like it. So I was very grateful.
That's got to be a big relief when something like that happens.
Well, a film like this, you feel a sense of responsibility of the original filmmakers. You feel a sense of responsibility of the fans who grew up with it. You feel a responsibility to new audiences that are seeing it, the cast that trusts you. So this was a film where there was more pressure than I've ever felt before.
This is the biggest, even more than Iron Man.
Yeah, because Iron Man, nobody expected much when we started. You know, in the beginning, it wasn't anything, and people were just delighted to see Robert coming back and that hero. And I think the Russo brothers felt that pressure more with the Avengers films
as it went on,
after 10 years,
Yeah. You also have a show on Netflix, The Chef Show, which is seems like you're having a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yes.
The idea of this show is you and Roy Choi, who's a great chef here in Los Angeles.
Who trained me for the film chef.
Who trained you for chef, and you guys became pals. You guys go and you cook with people, celebrities, other chefs,
and a lot of it, honestly, was inspired by, I don't know if you know this about Jimmy, but he's an amazing cook. I've never cooked with you, but everybody says, all the chefs say he's a great cook and a great host. And he'll bring the chefs together with celebrities and people who love food at his home. And there
It
was
was a
an
charity
evening-
event we had at the house, right?
And there was an evening that we had where Roy was there, David Chang, we had Adam Perry Lang, and you had
Chris Bianco.
Chris Bianco.
Yeah, all these guys.
And then a lot of celebrities. And everybody was, all the chefs were cooking around a table together and putting this great meal together. And the conversations and the learning and how much I learned by watching the chefs, it was such a great moment. I was like, this is something that people would love to see, and it's such a great way to talk to people and get to know them, is by learning how to cook with them and cooking for them.
And so you did that, and then you didn't invite me to be on it.
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. I wanted to, you know, I kept wanting to do it at your house, which might have been a little too much. But we have to do it together.
I would love to do it. I love that show.
You've
It's
been
fantastic.
cooking a long time. I mean, I got into it
Do
more
you
for
get
the film.
nervous when because you're not known for cooking, and I'm not known for cooking.
You
so
are known for
when
cooking.
when
Yeah.
people, your friends, know that you cook or whatever,
Yeah.
do you then get like, oh, this is a big deal. It has to be good.
It's amazing to me that whether I'm cooking a meal for some people at my house or doing an appearance here or making a movie, it's all the same feeling.
All the same.
As though my whole career was resting on this thing. But the feeling I get when you actually cook something and somebody likes it, especially like if a chef tastes it and thinks it's cool,
Yeah.
it makes my day. I don't know why. I think as I get older, it's like Mr. Miyagi. You like your hobbies. You want to make bonsai trees. You want
you wanna
to
do
polish
other
the
things.
cars. You get so hung up in the meticulousness of a hobby and interest. It's like you want to learn things the older you get. And when you're young and everyone wants to teach you things, you don't want to hear anything.
Especially when you can eat those things after
Yes.
you've made them.
Exactly.
Which Mr. Miyagi could not do with those
You
bonsai
could not
trees.
eat a tree.
Yeah,
No.
no, they're not delicious.
Not
So,
yet.
all right, when we come back, we're going to see a clip from Guillermo. What did you think of the movie? You were
Oh,
there
you were
at
there
the.
too?
It was fantastic. Great movie. Great job.
See,
Thank
and
you.
that's all you really need.
That's a
right
ringing
there.
endorsement.
That's it. That is The Lion King. This is the director of The Lion King, Jon Favreau. It opens a week from tomorrow. Everybody's going to love it. There's no doubt everybody's going to love it. You, at the premiere, you announced, you were on stage and you said, this whole movie is CGI except for one scene in the movie.
One shot.
One shot in the movie.
One shot. So every environment you see was completely generated by computers. Every performance was, keyframe animated, the same way that they did back in the time of Bambi, except with the computers using it for lighting and for rendering, it creates this beautiful photoreal naturalism. And so I wanted people to know that we weren't just out there shooting plates. People refer to it sometimes as live action because hopefully it looks like it's a live action
I
film.
really didn't until you just said this.
Yeah.
I was watching it and I was going, how did this happen? What is part of, like, is Africa real? Are the animals?
Well, Africa is real, but in our movie...
It is real. So there is an Africa.
Yeah, there is. There
Okay,
is an
'cause I
Africa,
was confused
and we
about
took
that.
photos there, and we went on scouts to do research, but we made sure we got all the species right, all the plant life, but...
The hair on the animals, the
hair-
body movements.
All those simulations were things that, I learned a lot on Jungle Book, and we went right into this. So as soon as that came out, we started working on this. And the other interesting thing that makes it look live action is we took all of those digital files, brought them into VR, and created this multiplayer VR filmmaking game where all the crew put on headsets and they were able to walk around and look around the Pride Lands and
Wow.
watch the animated performances and set cameras inside VR. So it felt like we were making a live action film inside virtual reality.
Beyonce was at the premiere. Is she
Yeah.
real? Is she a real
She is.
person? Okay.
She is.
For
I've seen
sure.
her in person, face to face, and I've seen her on stage.
And on stage, how do you approach Beyonce to be in your movie?
I didn't know if it's one of those things where either they want to be involved or not.
Right.
And I got the message through to her. I didn't have any personal relationship. And when she said, because she has kids and she
That
has
helps.
an affinity, exactly, an affinity for
She's the
affection
right
for the
age
film.
group, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And could sing.
And
Let's
she's a
face
good
it.
singer, yeah.
She's a good singer. And so the idea of her reinterpreting those classic songs, and we have all the original songs in, that was an exciting notion. And so when I heard she wanted to do it, that's when I knew I was a made man at home because I have 2 daughters and a wife.
Ah, yeah.
And for the first time, they're teenagers, so for the first time in about 4 years, I held their attention at dinner.
Did they get to meet Beyonce?
We finally went to see her at the Rose Bowl.
Wow.
And we met her afterwards.
Nice.
Which was a good lesson for the kids because they see her bigger than life on stage with all the costumes and the lights, and she puts on a great show. And then you meet her afterwards, and it's like a normal human who's polite and just like all of the persona of the stage presence goes away, and she's just a very nice, gracious host who had us all there.
And it also teaches them that daddy is awesome.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing with Donald Glover. My son
Donald
was
Glover.
a big Childish Gambino fan. I mean, I knew him from his comedy background, but my son had his picture up on the wall. And so and I also, as we get older, it's nice to have young people in your life that kind of tell you what's going on before you drift off into your weird little cocoon of insulation.
Yeah, right. I know what you mean. Yeah, I listen to nothing but the 80s radio station. Yeah.
And Stranger Things, it's great. I bond with my daughter watching that. But beyond that, I really need to be guided through this.
You had the original Mufasa. Is that the only original cast member?
Yes.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, yeah.
Who was fantastic in the movie. And because there's no one that can. There's no new James Earl. There's not a James Earl Jones Jr. out there, right?
Oh, I would have had a very tough time had I had to recast that because
I feel like I could have done that, but
you would have been good, but you're busy.
Yeah, well, sure.
Problem.
Yeah, with all the cooking and whatnot.
It's true. But he, and also to hear his voice still, and beyond being just James Earl Jones as Mufasa, in my childhood, as Darth Vader, too.
For me, CNN, but yeah, I understand, yeah.
Tulsa
Speaking
Doom.
of Darth Vader, you're directing a series for Disney Plus.
I'm actually executive producing and writing. We have other directors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm working with other directors.
Called The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Which Boba Fett was a Mandalorian.
Boba Fett.
May he rest in peace. Oh, you're wearing the sock. There you go. Is that what they gave you in exchange?
Yeah, and I shaved my legs for this appearance.
Are those your Boba feet?
Yeah, yes, it is.
So, can you tell us anything about The Mandalorian, or is it
Sure,
secret?
what do you want to know?
It's
secret, but I'll tell you.
What's going on in it? What happens?
It's about a bounty hunter. It's after Return of the Jedi, so the Empire's gone and all hell's breaking loose in the Outer Rim, and it's about the, scum and villainy that now, once you take out the rule of law, what happens? Chaos takes over, and you have a lot of the unseemly characters.
It's based on current events.
It's kind of like, when you meet Han Solo at the beginning of Star Wars or New Hope, and you have sort of the Starport bar. And I always love those characters. I always love the rogues gallery of bounty hunters in Empire Strikes Back, and I always want to see more about it. I got together with a guy, Dave Filoni, who's my partner on this one as producer, and we're writing this stuff and coming up. It's honestly like turning over your toy chest and playing with all the Star Wars toys together. We're having a great time. It's all new characters. It's going to be on Disney Plus coming up in the fall, and we're done with the first season. I was actually writing part of the second season now, so I'm having a blast.
Well, look at this. You're having a good life.
Having a fun
everything
time.
you do turns into gold. It's amazing.
And super fun.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see you.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau, go see The Lion King. You'll love it. It opens a week from Friday. If you like that video, click subscribe, and we'll be together until one of us dies.